Hey, good morning. It's 7:04 on this Tuesday, May 31st. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. It is a Tuesday morning, and we welcome you to our program, and welcome sunshine today, too. Going to be a nice summer day, I think, even though summer's not officially here yet. We are on the air each Tuesday at this time for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. When it comes to emergencies, time and expertise matter. Since becoming part of the Vanderbilt health system, Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital now provides Vanderbilt-level care to every patient that walks through the emergency room doors and beyond. Over the last 3 years, Vanderbilt has invested millions in Wilson County, including more than $1 million to support a new ambulance base and life flight ground and ambulance located at the hospital. This investment also helps support Wilson County's Emergency Management Agency in hopes of reducing response time for all patients. Vanderbilt University Medical Center's Department of Emergency Medicine is nationally recognized for its leadership in training and research. Patients can be confident the Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital Emergency Department upholds the same standard of care. Transitioning patient care responsibilities to Vanderbilt's emergency medicine physicians reflects the hospital's strong commitment to the citizens of Wilson County. And it is one more way that Vanderbilt is prepared to respond quickly and professionally to critical and timely needs of Wilson County citizens. Well, this morning it is my delight to introduce Jack McCall to our listening audience. Jack is here live in studio, has been on with us from time to time. And Jack, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It is nice to have you, and I'll mention your newspaper column. I read, I think this is the last one. It was about cool water.
Cool water, yeah.
Yeah, the Sons of the Pioneers and others had a good song years ago about cool water.
Looking for that cool water, yeah.
I have told you, and I guess I've said it on the air a little bit, when you and I grew up, and I'm a little older than you are, but we both have somewhat, you have a big farming background, and I lived, our little farm, my grandmother's farm, was about 15 acres out at Centerville, but I've done a lot of the things you have written about just on a smaller scale. But you were, in your column, you're writing about taking the I guess the gallon jugs of water to the field, and how everybody drank out of the same jug and all this kind of thing.
Yeah, we did. You know, we didn't think about individual bottles of water back in those days. Everyone drank from the same jug, and you hated to follow the tobacco chewers or the snuff dippers. You know, when you were drinking out of that jug.
Yeah. What have you been doing this summer? Now, I know you've got, I will say this, you've got a political campaign. We're not going to talk about it all this morning. But other than that, what are you doing any speaking?
Well, the speaking business is kind of making somewhat of a comeback. I've been to, I did a thing in Salt Lake for the Dairy Farmers of America a month ago, and then I was in Kearney, Nebraska, speaking to the Nebraska Bankers Association, which was most interesting. They had one speaker who, I'm not big on Zoom presentations, but they had a speaker who was just delightful, who Zoomed us, and he was sitting with a baseball cap on and a Carhartt work jacket, sitting in his office vest, and he was most interesting, talking about things that are going on in the world now, how fast things are moving.
Well, times have changed a lot since you and I were growing up.
What are you talking about? I walked in a warehouse the other day and saw one of these 4-row tobacco setters. Had 8 seats on it.
Oh, really?
And I saw the owner, and I said, "Could you save me a seat on that tobacco setter?" And he said, "If I can't, I'll let you follow the setter." I wouldn't want to follow a 4-row setter, would you?
Oh, man, no way. Well, I can... I remember one time going to school, and this was probably the last of April rather than May, but could have been either one. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But I got home 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, and I had a job waiting. The farmer wanted me to come, and what we did, I would drop the slip, and somebody else would peg it into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
That was before the tobacco setters.
Well, we had a tobacco patch we call the Mountain. at our farm, my mother's farm in Riddleton, and it was under a ridge, and it was rocky. We called them mountain gravel.
Yeah.
And the rocks with sharp edges, and we pegged that entire patch one day, and our feet were cut up. We had scratches and nicks where we'd.
I'll tell you what, the way tobacco used to be raised, I'm talking about the 40s and maybe early 50s, it was almost a 13-month a year thing. And I mean, you work, there's just a lot of manual labor.
Oh, shoot.
And all the way through.
And my dad, his passion was tobacco, and literally, he 13 months out of the year. If he wasn't involved in a tobacco patch, he was getting ready to do it. And I wrote a few weeks ago that by early May he would have been looking for all the tubs and the bushel baskets and getting ready to pull plants. Some people call it drawing slips. We always call it pulling plants. Yeah.
Well, I've read about how he meticulously did those plant beds, and you burned them back then instead of having the chemicals.
Then we gassed them later, but yeah, a lot of people would burn a plant bed. You'd pile up trash on that 100-foot strip during the winter, and then set it all on fire and burn those weed seeds.
Big bonfire.
That's right.
But it was. I guess I probably had as much experience in cutting it and hanging it in the barn, because I would work for some people for $3 or $4 a day and do that, and you get up on the tier pole and you have to beware of the wasp and maybe bumblebees. I got stung one time by a bumblebee in the back of the barn, and I hadn't forgotten that. That hurt.
I got stung 13 times I got in a nest of baby bumblebees one time in a fence post, and they stung me 13 times. You don't forget that.
Just like I said, I've experienced it, just not on as large a scale. I've been stung 13 times.
My dad wore we called it a turtle shell hat. You've seen the bad guys in the Jungle Jim and Tarzan movies used to wear those hard hats,
Yeah.
And if he'd get in a nest of bumblebees, he'd jerk that hat off and he'd pop them with that thing. And I can hear him popping now. He was fearless when it came to wasp and bumblebees.
My daddy had one of those hats too.
Really?
He wore it sometimes out in the garden. Yes, he did. They were kind of popular back then.
They were.
Well, this Father's Day is coming up. I thought we might talk a little bit about your father today. You've written about him quite a bit, and he was just a great mechanic from what I've read.
Oh, he really was. I tell the story out in the country sometimes when I talk about my dad pulled at my brother's hair at the supper table one night because he called him by his first name. But I talked about the strength he had in his forearms. We had an old popping John Deere tractor out in the Midwest. They call them Johnny Poppers. It was an A model, and he had gotten frustrated with it one day and took the electrical starter off the tractor. And after that, he started the tractor by hand. And fortunately, we lived on a hill, and he'd roll it off. But if it was on level ground, he literally cranked it with his hands. He'd taken the guard off the flywheel, and he'd walk around and open up the pressure relief valves and switch it from what he called tractor fuel to gasoline. And then he would roll that flywheel back with his hands and flip that thing and start that tractor from a cold start just with his bare hands. It was amazing.
Took a lot of strength to do it.
A lot of strength to do it. I could never do it. I could never do it. But he probably overhauled it at least twice, and it was a 2-piston engine, and the pistons were about as big as gallon jugs. And I've seen those pistons before where he completely tore it down and put it back together.
Wow. And it worked.
And it worked. Anyway, he'd usually have 2 or 3 parts left. He'd wonder where they went. It was interesting.
Well, as we said, I mean, times were different, but people were very frugal, and you just didn't waste a dollar, and you didn't spend for almost anything unless you absolutely had to have it.
No, and Mother talks about during the Depression that they didn't use all their stamps, all their ration for sugar and tires and things. They didn't use them all. They just used what you had to have, and you didn't use any extra. But a story about my dad and his mechanicking. In World War II, he was a mechanic on the C-47, which was a twin-engine tail dragger, And one day, a British general was talking to a young GI about the fact his plane was not airworthy. The old engines, the old C-47 were bad about slinging oil. And this young GI told this general, said, "There's a boy from Tennessee that can get you back in the air." So they go get my dad, and he comes and puts the plane back. He needed 2 gaskets, and the general got the gaskets for him, and he got the plane, worked all night putting it back together. And next morning went up with the general's pilot. And when the general returned the next day and found plane was ready to go, he told this young GI, he said, "They should make an officer out of that boy from Tennessee." and if my dad told that story once, he told it 100 times. And
Well, it is nice to be appreciated.
When he would tell the story, and when he had dementia, sometimes he'd tell it 3 or 4 times a day, and he would always end the story by saying, "And that British general said they should make an officer out of that boy from Tennessee." And my dad would chuckle, and he'd say, "That was something, wasn't it?" and we would always say, "Yeah, Dad, that was something."
That was something.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta take a break. We'll talk more with Jack McCall in a moment here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota, Lamprey quality tractor implements, including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty, extremely durable and well built. 1506 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. We're looking at this crash out here in Rutherford County. It's got traffic tied up pretty good on 24 eastbound at Walden Road. One vehicle flipped. That's why it's just crawling out here with fire EMS. THP's got several units on the scene. Again, that's 24 eastbound at Walden Road. That's what we're looking at live right now here in Rutherford County. Traffic's really struggling trying to get around this crash. Eastbound, westbound starting to slow down with unnecessary rubbernecking. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken now available for catering. They're also hiring. Check out that menu, princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
Coleman and Company, we thank you for joining us. Our program is presented each Tuesday at this time by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. And I do have Jack McCall with us today. If you read the Democrat or the Post, I believe your column's in both of them, usually on a weekly basis.
Yep.
You write a column every week. You do public speaking, which we've talked a little bit about already. And you were telling me you've visited some of our civic clubs and the church group even here in town, not too.
Sure, I have.
Very recently.
Did the early morning Rotary Club,
Yeah.
Not too long.
But you have written some books as well, and those books are available. I know you probably give you a call and get one, but don't you have them at DT McCall? And
I do here in town, as a matter of fact. And anyone can email me at jack@jackmccall.com, and I can send out a book. Be glad to.
How many have you written?
5.
5, but are you through?
I've always got one in my head. I don't know if I'll get it out and get it on paper or not. That's quite an ordeal, getting a book out and working with a printer and getting it done.
How long did it take you? Probably not exactly the same amount of time, but was it a similar amount of time for each of those 5 books?
Probably so. I had a good friend years ago who advised me to maintain the copyright on all of my columns, and most of my books are just a collection of columns that I've written. So that the book was already done by the time I went to the printer. It was just a matter of getting the book covers created and all that done.
Okay, well, you're still writing, so that tells me you're probably not through with books.
Well, probably not.
What now? You have to. I've I've done a little writing. Well, I've written a lot of commercials, let's radio commercials, but you have to come up with an idea. Whatever you have an idea you're trying to present to people, and it's got to be something people are interested in. And I think your mind probably dwells on this a little bit, and you wonder, what am I going to write about? An idea hits you, and you try to develop that, but it's not all that easy.
No, it's not. And a word will drop in your head, or something will drop in your head. And I was when I spoke to the Clarksville Kiwanis Club about a month ago, the editor of one of the papers up there had picked up on it, and she sent me what she'd written, and it was interesting. She said, "This man can take grass string and write 800 words on grass string." But you just when you start with a subject like grass string, and you go back to the farm, you think about all the things you did with it, and as you massage it, all this stuff kind of comes back to you, kind of.
But your life experiences plays a big part into
Sure.
all of this.
Sure. I tell so many people my age that our experiences were so similar, and really, Coleman, it was a golden age in which we grew up. It was a different time. Neighbors helping neighbors, and everyone knew you. Everyone was equally poor. There weren't any big eyes and little U's. Everyone was kind of on a level playing field, it seemed like, and everybody worked hard and didn't realize what an advantage that was to you to grow up working hard.
Some of the great stories and great things that I have really appreciated is when somebody or some family was really on hard times. Somebody was sick. Maybe they had the tobacco crop that needed to be harvested, hay needed to be cut, put in the barn, or even a field plowed. People would come and sometimes almost in droves and maybe take a half a day and do what it might have taken them a week to do.
Well, we did. We had a neighbor who lost a hand in a corn picker, and I'll never forget this story. They had 1,600 bales of first cutting red clover hay down in a river bottom, and rain was coming, and the neighbors all came together, and we hauled all that hay in one day. Everyone brought their tractor and wagons and trucks, and we hauled, and not a sprig got wet.
And nobody got paid
And no
anything
one-
other than the reward from God, maybe.
No
but-
one expected anything for it. It was
Right.
just a neighbor in a hard place, and everyone bailed him out.
But we're too busy. That'd be almost impossible to happen today unless you had somebody who really could organize and get it done.
It would, yeah. Everyone, we're all moving in different directions, and it concerns me at just how caught up the next generation is in the speed of life, and their kids got their heads in a cell phone all the time, and it's different. It's just different.
Well, it's even the way in school. Now, our grandchildren soon may not know what a textbook is.
That's
They
true.
just
That's true.
got
You're
that
exactly
computer.
right. My mother used to say, mother died about 8 years ago, but she was just incensed by fall breaks and spring breaks. She's every time you turn around, fall break, she'd say, spring break. She said, well, how can they teach these kids anything?
I guess there's two schools of thought there. A break can be good, and a break can be educational. There's a lot of traveling that's done
Sure.
during these breaks, but still, I've wondered the same thing. It seems like every kind of holiday, every kind of break, you wonder. But we another thing that's happened along that line, though, we didn't start to school usually till about Labor Day or right to the last of August and get out by Memorial Day. Now we start in the 1st of August, so there is another month of school there we didn't used to have.
There's an article in the paper, the local paper, a couple of weeks ago that Trousdale County schools were letting out 2 days early because the kids scored so well on their tests. And so they cut schools 2 days short thought that was interesting. In our day, they'd have found something else to
That
teach you.
would have never happened. That wouldn't have happened. Oh, you're right. There'd been something else to learn.
That's
Get
right.
started for next year or something.
Yeah. Pull out another book.
We've seen, as far as farming goes, the farm implements almost seem to be geared for so much of for a one-man operation anymore.
Yeah, I was out in the community a couple of weeks ago, and they had this thing where we'd pick up a dozen bales 10 bales at a time, and rack it on a, and it was a one-man operation. The guy stacking hay on a wagon, one guy. It's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, but now that is almost of necessity, though, because nobody wants to do farm
As people
work.
say, you can't get help.
I'm not sure. Some people want to work at all, but farm work is not easy, especially it's easier with the modern equipment that we've got, and with one person being able to do so much more. It's easier in that way, but farming is still farming.
When I was speaking to this dairy group in Salt Lake several weeks ago, this young couple came over and sat down, and we were talking, and I asked him about how many cows he milked, and he said, well, my brother-in-law milks cows. How many you got? 5,600. And I said, well, I keep hearing him talking about alfalfa. I said, how many acres of alfalfa do you have? And he said 5,000.
Wow.
5,000. And they're milking these cows with robotic milkers now, and the cow can decide when she wants to be milked. She walks up and her barcode lets her in and to her stall, and the robotic milkers milk her, and they may milk a cow 3 or 4 times a day. The cow decides when she wants to be milked.
I have not heard that. I did not know that.
It's amazing.
It is. It is. It's sure different from. Now, I never did much milking. I'll confess I didn't, but we did have 2 or 3 cows there. Most of the time, they would get a calf, and the cow would have a calf. You sell that one, buy a little one, and put it with it. And when it gets 200 pounds, sell that one and get another until the cow has another calf. That's kind of the way we did it.
Well, you remember there was always a shortage of dairy heifers back in our day.
Yeah.
Well, now they can sex this semen, and every calf is a heifer, and they have too many dairy heifers. Isn't that amazing?
That is something. Another thing that's changed, our automobiles, our means of transportation. And did you ever think when you were 12, 15 years old that someday everybody would want a pickup truck instead of a sedan or whatever?
No, I wouldn't. Really not. My dad bought new pickup trucks in 48, 58, and 68. He'd make one last 10 years. and they became progressively less powerful as time went on. The first one had a floor shifter, 4 gears, granny low. Then the next one was a 3-speed on the column, and each truck was weaker than the last one because it was built more for transportation than work.
But who would have thought that you'd pay $50,000 or $60,000 for a new vehicle?
Or 70 or 80.
Yeah.
As much for a house. Amazing. Just amazing.
You still live in Trousdale County.
I still do.
Have the land values increased?
Oh, we're just amazed at the land values, and they'll say, well, just go one county west, and you'll really see what land values are like. It's just crazy right now.
Well, we've seen such an influx of people here, and I guess you're growing there too, but I don't believe you're growing as fast as we are.
Probably not. I tell someone with tongue in cheek that in Trousdale County, people are coming all the way from California, Oregon, Washington State, Mount Juliet.
Well, if they're coming from Mount Juliet, Mount Juliet's got too big for them.
Really, a realtor told me not too long ago that he said the last 3 houses I sold were people coming from Mount Juliet in Trousdale County. And that's a fact. Isn't that interesting?
Well, that is interesting.
And
what's your next column going to be about?
Oh, I'm not really sure. I think I want to write about spizzerinctum. Have you ever heard that word?
I've heard that, but I can't remember.
Spizzerinctum. It's savvy. My grandfather had spizzerinctum.
Okay.
He was. D.T. McCall. He was the toughest man I ever knew. Twice my mother walked in the house and he was sitting sewing himself up. He had cut his hand and he had a needle and thread and he was sewing himself up. And she said, Pa, you're going to die from blood poisoning. He said, ain't no such. I poured coal all in it before I started sewing. It won't even be sore.
Oh, we could go on all day, but our time is about come and gone. Jack McCall got a column in the same column. It runs in the Post and in the Democrat here, and you got a few other papers that carry it too, I think.
I do.
And he's written some books. They're available at D.T. McCall and Sons, or you can
email me.
He'll sell you one at
Jack@jackmccall.com.
Jack@jackmccall.com. Always a pleasure to have you. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
All right, that is part one of Coleman and Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and a battery installed on most vehicles, $134.95. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. I'm still looking at this wreck out here in Rutherford County. One car flipped. It's still down to one lane on 24 eastbound at Walden Road. Again, that's out here in Rutherford County. Yes, the heaviest flows on the other side of the interstate westbound on 24 headed towards Nashville, leaving Murfreesboro, Rutherford County area. Again, this crash is eastbound. It's got it crawling out here, trying to get past Walden Road. Traffic's on the increase as well on 24 coming in from Jolton. There's still on the scene of that wreck on 24 at the Solomon Evans Bridge. That's eastbound just past Shelby's. Got traffic a little bit slower than normal. Gatlinburg Wine Cellar is home of the world-famous cotton candy wine. Check them out at GatlinburgWineCellar.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
The refreshing cool after coming in from a hot summer day. The perfect temperature to kick off your shoes and relax with a good book. When the weather heats up, a new Rheem AC system will surround your family in total comfort. Are you feeling it? Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
A warm start to the work week is ahead for us, tracking a high of 90 degrees today with clear skies. Temperatures will be in the upper 60s overnight before returning to 90 again for Wednesday. A chance for rain on Thursday could cool us down.
This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm number one Ned.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part two here on this Tuesday morning. Tuesday after a Monday holiday always seems like Monday, but it is Tuesday. And we're ready to talk about Hearthside Senior Living. Betty Kelly has joined us this morning to talk about something that she holds near and dear, and that's Hearthside Senior Living. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It is good to have you with us, and Sean Dozier is on special assignment, we'll say. But he let me know last week that you would be here to do the commercial, to talk about Hearthside. And we'll just remind everybody, you are the activities director.
I am.
And been working closely with Sean and his predecessors, because you've been there longer than he has,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I've been there 10 years.
Hearthside Senior Living, Retirement and Assisted Living Community. It's at 215 Castle Heights Avenue North here in Lebanon. And Sean Dozier, of course, is Executive Director, and Betty Kelly is the Activities Director. Hearthside is locally owned and managed, and many times has been voted best in Wilson County. And Betty, I'm sure that your activities has helped that to get a number one rating a time or two.
I hope so.
What you got for us today?
Well, we've had quite a couple of weeks have been very busy, but we've had a volunteer group that came over and did some sprucing up, and they spruced up the community trail that we put in a few years ago, and then spruced up the furniture, the iron furniture. And these volunteers, thanks to Jill Hale from the HR department from Amazon.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a real treat. She called up and asked if she could, volunteer, and I went, of course you can. I don't turn down volunteers. And it was wonderful. They did such a great job. They plan on coming once a month now. and continuing what they were doing, and do some volunteer work also in the with the activities, and so it was great.
Well, I guess that anybody who has an idea about volunteering, they maybe need to check it out. But but there, you can always use volunteers,
Absolutely.
and there's a lot that can be done if somebody's got a strong mind and strong back too.
Right? Yeah, pretty much. But they did a wonderful job, and we look forward to working with them some more. So, and then of course we had Mother's Day and our Mother's Day tea. And now Father's Day's coming up, so we're gonna do some things with the dads, and it'll be fun.
All right, but if you, what's the best number to call? Now, Sean says just stop by, and that's usually okay
Right.
too. But if you want to give Betty a ring, if you've got an idea and want to check it out, 615-443-1994.
That's correct.
And that's been the number for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And well, I don't know if that's been the number since 1994, but that's how long Hearthside's been there.
It has.
Yeah.
Yeah. Currently, we do have a couple of openings, but they're going fast. We've had kind of a influx of people that just suddenly. It was time, I guess, so it's been really good.
Well, I understand probably the openings are the smaller rooms.
Yes,
And
they
when
are.
a bigger one becomes available, somebody sometimes moves to that.
Yes.
But
They always have that option.
you can at least start small now if that's what you need. And then if you need more, when the opportunity avails itself, maybe move
That's
up.
right. Yeah.
But you can check that out too. And just about any time's okay for a tour.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
There's always
if you
someone
want to
there.
make an appointment, that's good. You'll be expecting them, but even if you drop in, well, unless you're really
yeah.
busy, well, you still got time
Definitely.
to show it off.
Yep.
What else you got today?
Well, a shout out.
Okay, Hearthside Hello.
Of course, yes. And that is to Debbie Sorrells. She's been a really great fan of Hearthside. Of course, she has a family member there, but she's always helping with the activities department, and she's just been great.
And who is that again?
Debbie Sorrells.
All right, Debbie Stores. Well, when we get to the Hearthside Hello, that's about the end because we save that for the last each time. But hope you have a great week, and I guess if all goes well, Sean will be back next week, and we'll find out what he's been up to and how his weekend was. He must have had a good one because he's not here today.
That's true.
Well,
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time, whenever that is.
See you next time.
All right. That's Becky Kelly. She's Activities Director for Hearthside Senior Living, again located at 215 Castle Heights Avenue North here in Lebanon, and the phone number 615-443-1994. Well, we're going to talk about Habitat for Humanity this morning. Veronica is here, and Veronica, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It is nice to see you, and I have had you on my schedule for quite some time. When it's the last day of the month, and it's after a Monday holiday, and you wonder how many people would even want to come. But thankfully, Jack McCall did, and you wanted to come. I've had you booked here for 2 or 3 weeks.
Absolutely,
And you had a
yes.
special reason because of something that is going on, and you're going to tell us all about it this morning regarding Habitat for Humanity.
Absolutely. We've got some exciting updates going on. We just kicked off our 2 builds, which is the 88th and 89th house here in Wilson County. And thank you to our community partners. We couldn't do it without you. The first house is the house at Lebanon number 3. A unanimous family partnership has done 3 houses. And we've had some great volunteer groups. And it's funny, one of those groups is Jill Hale from Amazon. They've been out, they'll come out this weekend, so excited about that. We've had Providence Church, Keller Williams, and Goodall Homes come out. And then our 89th house is our Wilson Bank and Trust house. This is the first time they've come out and done a full house sponsor, which we're very excited, and that's 8 build days. And we've kicked that off with great groups from the bank.
Now, Wilson Bank, it's large enough, got enough employees that they're pretty much going to do this themselves.
Yes, they're due all 8 build days. And like I said, we've kicked off the first day, and they're including all of their Middle Tennessee regions. And it was very surreal for me because I got to build and be with old friends and meet some new ones too. So it was a great experience, and they've got 6 build days left to complete the home for Ashley and her 3 teenagers. So very excited about that.
Well, now, is this a little bit unusual to build them this fast?
All of our homes we build, we do in 8 build days. So it's typically over the weekend. So we do 4 weekends or 3 weekends. This one will be
Now,
to try to.
well, that's been going on for a while.
Yes.
It hasn't always been. You hadn't always built them that soon, have you?
Probably not, but 10 years I've been doing it,
all right.
that's about
well, all
what
right,
we've
this
done.
is not something new. Then.
No, not for us. No.
But that's
no.
that's saying a lot. There's a
Yes.
lot that has to go on in 8 days.
Oh yeah, well we are very much on a time schedule, and it's not completely finished, but it's finished based on volunteers. So we have subcontractors that come in and finish the home, like the roofing and electric and plumbing. Volunteers don't do that stuff.
Okay, but still, what a difference
Yes.
these volunteers make.
Yes, absolutely.
And kicking it off in such a short time.
Yes, absolutely. And the impact on the homeowner that purchases the home and the impact for their families. A lot of times it's the first home they've ever purchased in their family, their whole family, it's their first house. And the impact on the children, getting to grow up in a stable home and an affordable home. So very blessed to have a wonderful community to help us with our mission here in Wilson County.
Does it work better when you have a group of people, let's say, kind of under the same umbrella? I mean, everybody with Wilson Bank, for example, they're all employees or about all that.
And they're working with their teammates, yes. But either or, you meet new people too. So we have churches that come out, we have individuals that come out. When we are looking for volunteers, you have to follow our website and our Facebook page when we need to reach out. But it's just a really good team building experience.
Well, now somebody has had to think ahead of time. We need this person here and one here and one here because, and some people might be good with a hammer and nails and others aren't. How do you go about getting all your volunteers at the right place and doing the right thing and getting this done in 8 days?
Well, that's a very good question. We have volunteers also that are our SOSs, which are supervisors on site, and they're volunteers that are trained up, if you will, on how we build our homes, and they take groups of volunteers. So right now we ask for up to 20 volunteers per build day, and we have usually 4 SOSs, and they'll take the group. So basically we just reach out in the morning. What would you like to do? Do you want to be up on a ladder? Do you want to use a hammer? Do you want to use a saw? Do you want to, and people kind of pick and choose what they feel comfortable doing. And you don't have to have any experience. That's how I started.
Really?
I started on a women build 10, 11 years ago, I think it was.
Well, I bet you learned fast.
I did. I learned how to put up siding. I learned how to, all kinds of things. Painting, putting in windows,
now,
doors, all of it.
When we say volunteers, I take it they're talking about volunteering in every sense of the word. They're not getting paid for this. You're not paying them by the hour or anything like that. They just come, volunteer their time, and help somebody have a home that they probably wouldn't have otherwise.
That's right. That's right. And it's just you get paid, and you get paid in your heart.
Yeah.
It's just a fulfilling experience.
Well, having been there and done that yourself, then you know what you're talking about.
Yes.
But you also know how to identify with these people who are doing this and maybe volunteering even for the first time on something like
Absolutely. And, each home we build, we do have to sponsor. We do raise money to build each home, and that's due to we have to pay for the lumber, and we have to pay the subs. So there is a sponsorship factor for the I guess, for the experience of building. And then sometimes we have, like our house that Love built, that's a family here in Wilson County that paid for the full sponsorship, but they don't have all the volunteers that come out. So we have the different groups that come out and volunteer. And then we also have a faith build where the different churches will come out per day.
Well, it sounds to me like this is a good time for Habitat itself, that you're really going strong right now. Am I right?
Well, we have a lot of more exciting news coming up too. So I want to talk about our Houses of Hope event that's next Tuesday at the Expo Center at 11:30, and we'll be announcing a fabulous news about our restore.
Okay, you're gonna have that for us when we come back after the break.
Yes.
Right? All right, Veronica Anderson is here, Habitat for Humanity, and this is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by Absolute Kubota Land Pride. Quality tractor implements including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty, extremely durable and well built. 1506 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. I'm still looking live at this crash out here in Rutherford County's got traffic extra slow on the interstate. It's 24 eastbound at Walden Road. EMS fire still on the scene where one car flipped. They've got traffic shut down. 2 lanes are able to get around this crash. 2 other lanes are closed, but it's just crawling out here in Rutherford County on 24 eastbound at Walden Road because of this wreck. They're wrapping up this accident over here on 24 east at the Solomon Evans Bridge. Gatlinburg Wine Cellar, home of the world famous cotton candy wine. Check them out today, GatlinburgWineCellar.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
At Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, world-class care is a heartbeat away. In fact, we offer the same world-class attention Middle Tennessee has come to rely on from a Vanderbilt Health hospital. Supported by over 200 specialties, an expanded emergency department staffed with Vanderbilt Health physicians 24/7, and greater investments in life-saving technologies and care. It's just one more way we're making healthcare personal.
Coleman and Company, it's a Tuesday morning. Veronica Anderson is with us, Habitat for Humanity. I didn't give you a title. What is your official title?
I'm the Community Relations Manager here at Wilson County.
Yeah. And enjoying every minute of it, I hope.
I'm loving it.
Most of the time.
Love it, love it, love it.
There's any time you're doing something worthwhile like what you're doing here, there's got to be a few hiccups and a few problems to solve and so on. But your overall goal, getting somebody in a new home, and whatever little price or hiccups you have to endure along the way makes it worthwhile when they get that. And most of these are people with a home for the first time, right?
Absolutely. And the closing day is what that is what we work towards. We build 4 houses here in Wilson County, and closing day is what all the work we do, and everyone in our community that sponsors and volunteers, that's the end goal, is they get to purchase a home at a 30-year mortgage at 0% interest. And it's affordable housing, which we are all looking for right now. If you're looking for a home, that's what you're looking for in Wilson County.
Well, you've got a number of things I think you want to tell us this morning, and really we're happy to make this time available to let people know just what all is going on with Habitat. But like you've already told us,
yes,
there's a lot, and no doubt you're staying busy.
Yes, busy all the time. There's no downtime. You think there might be some, but there really isn't. We build 2 houses in the spring and 2 in the fall, and we have our Houses of Hope event coming up next Tuesday at the Expo Center. We still have some seats available. It's basically like a year in review. What have we done? What's our impact for Wilson County? Introduce our families we're building for. And we've got exciting, Liz Reese is going to be speaking from the Brooks House because one of our homeowners came through the Brooks House, and her 2 daughters have went to college and just moved on. And just the impact of that is what I want to share with people that want to come out and have lunch and maybe help us along with a little donation at the end of the event. It's going to be fun. And we're also got exciting Restore news. So
well, before, let me interrupt you just a little bit. You mentioned Liz Reese.
Yes.
And Liz is a friend of mine, and and I hope I know I'm a friend of hers too. We are. We have somewhat of a mutual admiration society. I appreciate that woman and what she has done with the Brooks House, and the fact that you get her out here and get her talking, and she does not tolerate laziness or she has taught these people to be responsible.
Yes, absolutely.
And I appreciate who she is, where she comes from, the message that she delivers in dealing with these people. And everybody has not made it through the Brooks House, but if it didn't, it's probably their own fault. Liz has, just to mention her, if she's connected with you, there's several things you're going to be doing right.
That's exact. And the love that she has for those women that come through, and Creonda, which is one of our homeowners, she's been a homeowner for 5 years, maybe 6. See, time just rolls on, right? But her beautiful daughters have went through college, and just the impact of her having that stable home is just wonderful for her family. So I thought, why not have Liz come speak a little bit? So I look very forward to Liz Reese and Creonda and their story.
And when she speaks from the heart.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So very excited about that. Very excited that she's available to do that for us. So next Tuesday, 11:30 at the Expo. Please call me for RSVP. The
Farm
seats
Bureau
are
Expo.
Yeah, Farm Bureau Expo. I'm sorry, but call me.
Well, that's just
I know
now
we
a
have
little
to.
bit
I'm
better
sorry.
means of
Yes,
identification.
that's right. And the seats are filling up fast, and it's going to be great. We've got. I definitely want to thank our sponsors. So if I can run through the list of our sponsors, that would be awesome. A.O. Smith Lochinvar is our presenting sponsor. So they're going to be there. Goodall Homes is our food sponsor, and we're having a wonderful meal from Sammy B's. It's going to be great. And our beverage sponsor is First Baptist Church. So those are our main sponsors for the event. We have a lot of table sponsors, and the ones I have so far are Ligon and Bobo, Wilson Bank and Trust, Pinnacle Bank, Bank of Tennessee, Movement Mortgage, Silver Ridge Pottery, Tom Wallace, F&M Bank, and Painter Ready, and Kim and Phil Lacey. So those are our sponsors for our event.
You got a few more tables available to
We got a
sponsor.
few more tables, and we're going to have our SOSs there, and a really big, wonderful, exciting announcement about our new Restore. And those that attend our event will be invited to a VIP private tour of our Restore before it opens to the public. So if you would love to see that, please call me at 615-500-2042 to reserve your seat now.
Let's talk a little bit about the Restore.
Sure.
Now, you've got a little bit you're going to reveal at that time that
Yes.
you're not going to tell us
No.
now, and that's okay. That's okay. But I think most people have some idea. But tell us a little bit about the Restore. How it came about and what it's supposed to accomplish.
Well, our Restore is a resale building supplies, and it's an arm of our, brother sister of ours. It's our, we have the Restore to help raise funds to build more homes. So our Restore here in Lebanon is too small. So when the COVID hit, we closed, and our wonderful manager, of those of you know Kim, got married and moved also. So we have been looking for a new spot for years during this whole time. We had some wonderful deals and they fell through. But anyway, we have purchased land. So, and we'll be revealing more of that at our Houses of Hope event. And it's going to be a wonderful store, and I can't wait to open it. And we do have a new manager, Tina. She was with us, I don't know, about 9 months ago. We had Tina on the show.
Okay.
And she's been out cultivating relationships. We've got warehouse full of brand new, wonderful items to fill our store with when we get to open it. So it'll be great.
Is the opening going to be fairly soon?
We'll reveal that.
Well, it's not going to be 10 years.
It's not going to be a while. No, it'll be, I wish it was soon, but it'll be after we build out our store.
Okay, going to be a little while.
Have to build. It'll be a little while because we've got to build out our store.
But you got to save a little bit for those who come.
We do. We do. It's
Well,
going to be great.
You've whetted our appetite, and that's fine.
That's what this was all about.
How can there's probably a number of ways people can help.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times when maybe before you jump in with both feet to help somebody, you like to know a little bit about what you're helping, the purpose and all of this. Most people, I think, are somewhat familiar with Habitat.
Yes.
But what you're doing here, you're building 4 houses a year,
Yes.
2 in the spring, 2 in the fall.
Yes.
And going to have the restore again,
Yes.
which helps to fund that. But there are probably a number of ways that people can help. One would be volunteering their time whenever you're doing building. But what
Yeah.
are some of the other things people can do?
Serving on our community council, I'm always looking for people with a heart of serving and want to be involved with Habitat. We, our community council board meets once a month, and it's basically fundraising and to spread the word. Our homes are not free. That is the biggest, I think, misconception, is that our homes are free, and they are not free. Our families have to apply for it. We're probably more strict than a regular bank about getting a loan, and they are purchasing the homes at market value at a 30-year mortgage at 0% interest. And they have to work 200 sweat equity hours also to purchase their home.
I've heard that before, I mean, they have to really get involved in this ahead of time, really helping somebody else, the sweat equity.
Yes.
It's, I think owning a home is not all that easy. I mean, there's certain responsibilities that go with that. And if you don't keep up your payments and you don't do the things you're supposed to do, you can very easily fall through the cracks. And that happens a lot, but you are trying for it not to happen here because you're educating the people and letting them know what they're getting into before they ever get that home.
Absolutely, absolutely. And our website is full of a lot of information about the home ownership, or our Wilson page. It's habitatnashville.org. And we've got our benefits. We've got a golf tournament that we also do in the fall, which I'll probably come on the air and share that more then too. But it's just, the mission is a wonderful mission that started in the 70s, nonprofit. We're all over the world. And it's just to offer affordable home ownership. And definitely now more than ever, and give a hand up and not a handout. And we can't do it without our community.
Most of your funds that where people actually make donations, do they more come from businesses or individuals, or is it a good combination?
Good combination. Good combination. I go to the mailbox, I'm surprised I receive donations from people, private people just writing a check and mailing it, or I'll receive from foundations, family foundations, or I receive donations from churches. I received a donation last week from a church, a ladies' church group. Oh my gosh, it touched my heart. Every dollar counts.
Yep.
Every donation counts. Every blood and sweat and tears count to help people.
And I imagine you have a lot more people who want homes than get them, because you're only doing 4. There are more than 4 people who would like to have a home each year.
Yeah, our last time we opened the window to receive applications, which are online through our website, we received 107 applications for 4 homes. So we have these 2 families right now going through the program, and then we've got 2 more for the fall, and I think we might even have the 2 for spring of next year. But follow our website, habitatnashville.org, for homeownership or ways to get involved with us.
And I'm sure there's information there about donations if you want to make a
Absolutely.
donation.
Big, huge donate button. And choose Wilson County on the drop-down box, please.
Veronica, I think you're having a good time. You're
Yes.
busy, no doubt.
Loving
but I hope you can continue to do a great job here, and we wish you much success. And thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Coleman.
All right, Veronica Anderson with Habitat for Humanity. A lot of good news here. By the way, you're launching one more time quickly here.
Next Tuesday at the Farm Bureau Expo at 11:30. Doors open. Program 12 to 1.
And to make a reservation?
Call 615-500-2042.
All right, get that in here at the last minute. Well, that's it for a Tuesday. Join us tomorrow for the Wendy edition, and then until then, I wish you a terrific day.